we're going to kick off first 5 minutes with Nartio. Over to you. Tell us your story.
Thank you. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Gizem. I'm the Business Development Director at Nartio. And Nartio is a soft skill assessment platform. And we're a team of psychologists, HR consultants, software developers, and academics. And for 17 years, we've been helping organizations kind of understand their employees and understand the people that they work with. But we've also found from time and time again that the expensive talent decisions are being made based on instinct more than data. So we've developed Nartio 4 years ago for that. Picture a hire that looks perfect on paper, great CV, great interview, but it just doesn't work out. So most of us have seen it, and when it happens, we usually don't have the objective data about how that person communicated, how they handled pressure, how they handled problems. So that's kind of where we focus on. And research shows that 89% of bad hires fail because of soft skills, and it's not the technical skills or the technical knowledge. But yet all this process comes down to a 45-minute interview and a gut feeling usually. So Nartio replaces that with science, and we do that by being fast, objective, and built on evidence rather than impressions. So most organizations, as I mentioned, they focus on the data for their finance teams, their operational teams, their customers, but when it comes to their people, we don't usually have enough data, or it's incomplete, or it is based on that person's impressions of that day. So Nartio closes that gap. Currently we work with over 350 organizations. So we've got like L'Oreal, Sephora, Inditex, Pfizer, Mercedes, and we do different things for all of these clients. But we also take a lot of pride on the candidate experience as well. So we know that going through these phases is quite stressful for the candidate, so we make sure that the screens are kind of clear to understand and everything is straightforward for them as well. So what does measuring soft skills actually look like? The word soft is generally misleading in this sense. Because they're observable, they're measurable patterns in how a person is able to think, communicate, and solve problems. So it's not just about finding a good person, it's about finding the right person for the right role, which is usually very hard without the data that we need. So with Nartio, we assess across 36 global competencies, and it's not just for hiring, it can be used through onboarding processes, development, training, and any of the HR talent areas in that sense. So the 4 functions that Nartio generally makes a difference in is our AI feedback report. So when candidates complete their assessments, they usually want to know, how did I do, how can I do better, and what can I do to better myself? So historically, answering that question required a HR professional, a follow-up session, and maybe someone to even write up a report. What we've done is, as soon as a candidate completes the assessment, we're able to send a feedback report directly to their inbox, and it includes things like areas that they're doing well in, areas that they need to develop in, and any sort of kind of TED Talks or books that they could read in that sense. So even if this person, that the candidate isn't hired, they feel respected, and they feel like their time is being well treated. We also have an AI proctoring tool. So this is where the HR team comes into, and they ask a lot of questions about how can I ensure that there's no cheating involved, that the person has actually completed the assessment themselves. And we've created a proctoring tool, so we use the candidate's camera to monitor any suspicious behaviors, and then we log them and we flag them and then report them to the HR user. So it doesn't involve any manual watching or any human detection in that sense. So a candidate all over the world is being assessed in the same fair conditions. We then have our 100 roles. So on the platform, each role requires different competencies. So let's say if you're hiring for a sales manager or a sales developer, these are not measured in the same way, and they shouldn't be. So Nartio comes with 100 predefined roles on the platform. So if you're not sure which competencies to assess, you could just use our search bar and search for the competency, the role that you want to assess. But if you've got your own competencies, we can map this and customize the platform for companies as well. So lastly, we have our AI predictive role matching as well. So think of a mass recruitment. It could be a graduate program. You've got 2,000 candidates sometimes, but we don't know which departments they will do well in or which ones they will thrive in. So we've developed this tool that once a candidate completes the assessment, we're able to pinpoint with all of their assessment details which areas of the departments that they'll do well in and which ones that they're better off not being diverted to. So yeah, that's to wrap it up. Nartio is here to help you make better people decisions.
Okay, round of applause for Nartio, and let's move to some questions from the judges. Akmal.
Thank you very much. I had a quick question. So regarding, I'd say, sample the last module where you are training and giving role suitability.
Yeah.
Are you able to train on current staff, or do you make a guess through your own proprietary model?
Yeah, sorry. It could work in two ways. So it could be your current staff, and we can integrate the open roles and the open positions you have in the company. So for example, if you're a larger company and you've got very different vacant positions, we can customize it to just show them. Or it could be, if they are from a hiring perspective, it would be general departments.
So I mean, your example was graduate recruitment, which department they can go into.
Yeah.
And your system is suggesting you'd be a good fit.
Yeah.
Are you able to actually get the current people at Mercedes to take the test and say,
yeah,
actually, our salespeople are like this?
Yes.
Match like for like?
Yes, exactly. So it doesn't have to be just hiring. We can use the employees that they have as well to match
Thank you.
that.
Cheers.
Hi.
Hiya.
So my question is, you mentioned that you could use this for succession planning as well as new candidate hire, but you also said that you concentrate on behavioural skills as opposed to role-based skills. So my question is if you're making a decision about who's the most suitable for a role, don't you need both? Don't you need to know what somebody can execute and how they can execute as opposed to just how they can execute? Yeah, so my question is, if you're trying to find suitability for somebody in a role and you're looking at behavioural, which is obviously really important, but not role-based skills, as in executing particular skills with it that are required for the role, aren't you only providing half the picture to that organisation?
Yeah, so that's a great question. As mentioned, we don't do any technical ability. So for a sales position, we won't have a look at how well they're likely to perform in the sales sense, but we do have our competencies for that role is based solely on that. And we have done some experiments where, so we've had a sales client and they're in the pharmaceutical field. So they've completed the Nartio assessments. They were already part of the team. And then we kind of compared their sales data, and it's very in line. So someone that does well in the sense of the online assessments is a better salesperson, and they do usually tend to stay in the company for longer.
Thank you.
Hi. You mentioned that this is all backed up by science.
So I think I'm deaf.
It's very directional. You mentioned that this is all backed up by science. How do you validate that science?
Let me get back to my microphone. So how we validate that is we start from the beginning. So when we were developing all of these tools, we worked with the right academics, we worked with the correct psychological kind of consultants in those areas. So for example, we also have English language tests, but we know that the academic for that area is completely different to someone that would be in charge of general reasoning or personality assessments. So we start by dividing it at the initial stage, and then later on we always validate all of our tests. We do retest studies, and every year we kind of have a look at the validity and the reliability of all of our tests. We run assessments and tests with our clients, as I just mentioned, so in the pharmaceutical field, to validate what it's like in the real working world as well.